Hey, how's it going, guys? Carson back here with another Tuesday night live stream. We finally finished 8 Billion Genies, this hardcover, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Got a little bit of a haul this week. Got a hardcover in the mail, actually. I want to talk a little bit about that I need to read. And then I didn't really get a huge haul this week, at the stores and such, so I just decided to pull out some stuff out of the collection. And we're going to look at it because who doesn't like some, 70s, 80s DC and Marvel horror, mainly 70s DC, if I remember right. But we're sorting that pile, so I figured why not, bring you guys along, and we're going to have some fun just looking at the books. So, got to say hi to the chat. We got the Great Legend Show hanging out. What's going on, man? I know you're going to enjoy the segment where I just talk about DC Comics and what I read on the DC app this week, because I know there's one certain book you're going to like in particular that I got a chance to check out. But first, how about I go ahead and dive in to the 8 Billion Genies hardcover. Now, I talked a little bit about this last week. I bought this because the artist Ryan Brown is going to be at C2E2. I figured this would be a fun thing to get signed. By the way, trying to get a lot of stuff going for C2E2. There's a lot of commission lists going live as we speak, basically. So I've been trying to do, the Google machine and that stuff, see if I can get some stuff done before the convention and hopefully get my biggest convention or, commission haul ever. But anyway, back to this. I really enjoyed this book. It's a really good quality hardcover too, as you would expect from Image. Usually has, the entire run of 8 Billion Genies in there. And then there's like every cover is in the back that they had. Awesome Jenny Frison cover. May get that signed too. Who knows? And then there's just the whole concept art, the concept of the book, which it's a crazy concept. If you missed it last week, basically the concept is there's 8 billion people that were born into the planet. And when that happens, it causes G-Day, which means everybody gets their own genie and everything kind of goes to hell from there. But what really impressed me about this read, it's about an 8-issue read. I feel like most of them were almost double sized. It did take me a little while to get through this, even though it's only 8 issues. But I really like the character work here. I was surprised just the scope of the story. I figured it'd just be like comedic elements thrown in. They have a hoot and, genies cause chaos at the end. But no, it was way more and way deeper than that. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. But yeah, the art was great. The story was really good. This is the most I've enjoyed to read for quite a while. So if you're looking for, something new to read from Image or like a new hardcover or whatever, I give this my highest recommendation. This is the most I've enjoyed to read for a while. So I really, really recommend this if you guys are looking for something a little bit different. On to the haul for this week. I did pick up Department of Truth and hardcover. I believe this tells the entire run. So it's 17 issues. It says Department of Truth issues 1 through 17. This is the DC BS exclusive cover. So not sure what that means in terms of rarity, but hey, just a fun hardcover. Once again, the entire creative team for this book is going to C2E2. I really like what I read from, when we did it on Modern Men. I know Drew Manchu, shout out to Drew. He's a huge fan of Martin Simmons, who does the art in this. I definitely wanted to get a copy of this to get signed at C2E2 because I love me some hardcover. So I went ahead and just added this to my in-stock trades pool. So I got that. So looking forward to reading that. Now I got 8 Billion Genies out of the way. Either that or something is Killing the Children's up next. I haven't decided which one, but either way, whatever one I read, the next one will precede it. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to check out my normal books because I just got them yesterday and I've been busy ever since. I got The Ultimate Spider-Man #2. I definitely will be reading this tomorrow, talking about it next week. First issue is really good. I'm glad to be excited about a Marvel read again because, to be honest, it's been a little while. But I'm looking forward to cracking this one open. I think ever since I've had my little mini rant about foils and foil comics and how much I don't like some of them, I've gotten a foil every week in my pool. And this week I had to get the first John Stewart and a foil. It's all right. I definitely like the way the greens pop, but like, why make a almost all white cover a foil? Like, obviously the white doesn't pop, but the greens and the golds look really good, I guess. But yeah, had to have that. And then I got a Daredevil #1. I figured the Frank Miller cover would be the way to go, but There's plenty of people's thoughts on these Frank Miller covers online. I think they're okay. I definitely didn't need to go out and get them. This one was $6.99. Oh, that just reminds me of why I went digital for the most part on my current reads. $6.99. At least there's no like excess color rub like on a lot of the current ones. We got Art, Bikes, and Comics. Says it's Tuesday night, Seawater night. Thank you for being here. Your Instagram comment actually kind of influenced tonight's topic where, like I said, I didn't get too much at the stores. So I'm just going to show some Bronze and Copper Age horror. We're going to have fun there. All right. So luckily at my comic shop this week, they did have like some various dollar books. I don't know if you just absorbed a collection or what I was trying to get through it real quick. A lot of these are like reader copies or slightly better than that. So there's no like near mint 9.8s here to be found. So I got like, I think 10 $1 books. So I got a Metal Men 48. I always like getting some of these like B and C list level DC characters from the 70s because you just don't see these every day. These are usually, buried in the bin. So luckily, if I get modern men, geez, Metal Men for $1, I'll take that every time. We got Ghosts number 7. So I really need to start keeping track of how many of these horror books I got because I'm sure I'm starting to buy doubles, but for $1, I wasn't going to leave these in those bins. Like, come on. So I got Ghost number 7 for $1. A nice little bit of Witching Hour. Got a Witching Hour number 46 there. Some snakes. Got some 49. Like I said, these are not the best copies, but sometimes I think that lends itself to the aesthetic of a Bronze Age horror comic. I think it actually makes it look kind of cooler, actually. We got issue number 27, where the witch is riding the train. I really like this cover. So there's that one. And then switching off real quick, just from the horror stuff. We're going to go back to that later. Trust me. Silverhawks. Who doesn't like Silverhawks? Number 6. Well, I won't overdo it tonight. We'll give Legend one of those since he's in the chat. We got Silverhawks number 6 in newsstand. Yep. Newsstand, Silverhawks. They're probably almost all newsstands. But anyway, got World's Finest 254 in the late 70s. Now, I've never been like a big World's Finest guys, but usually when you get these like bigger, like 60 plus pages and they're not like falling off the cover in this age, usually I'll pick them up for $1, if they're cheap. Venom Lethal Protector number 3. Didn't want to leave any Lethal Protector books laying around for $1. Still, actually, this one's in pretty nice shape, minus a tiny spine tick or two. I love me some 90s gimmicks. And I have no idea what this book was, but it was a 90s gimmick. I don't think I have any of these in my collection, so I had to have it for $1. Pandora Widow. I have no idea what the number on this is because I think usually, your indica or indicia is like on the inside of the cover. This is a leather cover, so it's just pure white on the other side because I guess they just didn't print on the other side. They just gave it like that gold foil tinge or whatever. It's an Avatar Press book. But yeah, it's a nice leather red cover. So I thought that was a lot of fun. Threw that in my pile for $1. And then the last dollar one I had yesterday, Marvel Tales 201. I believe this is first Captain Britain released in a U.S. comic. It's got some Spider-Ham in it, hopping on a newsstand barcode. What's not to love there? Not a perfect copy by any means, but I thought it was a lot of fun to get for $1. All right. So we're going to talk some horror comics here in a few, but we're going to do our couple other segments first. First, I got to get my plug in for my friends over at the Modern Men. So let me get the gimmick up real quick. Tomorrow we'll be doing Modern Men episode 2, part 2. I think I got it scheduled to drop around noon tomorrow. So if you guys like part 1 where we cast the Authority, you're surely going to enjoy part 2 where we actually review the first run of Authority. A lot of differing opinions in this episode. So if you like when, Drew and JB don't like a book and have some fun with that, definitely I check out tomorrow's episode on there. And then I think for the next part, so we're going to film on Sunday, I believe. So a week from Wednesday, you should see release of the next Modern Men episode 3. where spoilers, I guess, if you're following along with the Modern Men, we're going to be reviewing X-Force, I believe, from 2008. Clayton Crane art, Craig Kyle Christiost on writing. I really like this run. Has it aged well for me? Am I remembering it through, the fun retro goggles? Because it's coming up on like, what, 18 years, 16 years on this one. Hopefully I still like this book, but we're going to read it and we'll find out. And we got another fun segment planned for part 1 of Modern Men episode 3. So check that out next week. But I have to talk about some DC comics and what I read on the DC app. So after the bumper, I'm going to tell you about some fun books I got a chance to read. So this week for me, what was new in the DCU at least was Shazam #1. I got a chance to read Shazam #1. I really like the work that Mark Waid and Dan Mora have been doing on World's Finest, what I've read so far. So I figured I'd check out Shazam #1. And it was a fun book. Is it I highly recommend? We'll see. I might go ahead and read, issues 2 and up later down the line. But this one was kind of just to set up, the character. He's very similarly written to the way he was in the movies recently. He's just a kid. He has a big cave. He has these gods that, gave him these powers, and he's just trying to find out what to do with them. Meanwhile, I guess kind of spoiler for the end of the issue, one of these guys just does not like what he's doing with these powers. And I don't know if it's the guy that takes over. Something takes over Shazam. Now he's going by Captain as well, basically. And he ends up just, telling the little kid off, telling the news crew off that's filming him. And he has no idea what he's just done, but it's not looking good press-wise for Shazam. So I'm at least going to have to check out issue 2 on this. I did enjoy it. And Dan Moore's art is always top-notch, of course. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think, he is probably the top-rated artist DC has right now. Maybe Daniel Sampier is giving him a run for his money. But Dan Mora, I'll probably read his books while he's making them for sure. Next up, we got The Unstoppable Doom Patrol. I believe this is a 6-issue series. I only got a chance to read the first one so far. This book, it's not too bad. It's actually bringing in a couple new characters while having a lot of familiar faces, especially like I don't have the biggest background in Doom Patrol. I watched all of the HBO Max series that I really enjoyed. Highly recommend if you haven't had a chance to check that out. That being said, they definitely, I feel like they knew their audience coming into this, watched that Doom Patrol TV series and was relatively new to the comic because most of the characters in this are written just like they were in the series. Cliff has, Robot Man has his same background, Negative Man, and Elasti-Woman. They pretty much all talk like they do in the series. And they didn't really differentiate, like there wasn't like, hundreds of issues you needed to read to catch up with the characters. So I did enjoy that. I really enjoyed how Jane is all of a sudden the chief of the crew. I thought at first like Niles Calder was inside her mind, but they're actually like, he is introduced. I forgot. I actually did read issue 2, come to think of it. That's what happens when you read all this stuff together. So Niles Calder in issue 2, he's trying to kind of reassert himself with the team, but Jane, as Kay Chalice, actually, she is the chief and is asserting herself to Jane to take over the body and run Doom Patrol. And, Kay's just like, no, we brought you back on to help out, but you're not going to run this team. I'm the chief now. So I really enjoyed that dynamic. I enjoyed, what little bit we got these new characters, as you can see on cover #1 here. I think I'm going to end up reading this whole 6-issue series. I did enjoy the first couple of issues. Next up, we got The Swamp Thing. I read issues 1 and 2. I wanted to see what this new Swamp Thing was all about. I believe his name is Levi Kamei. Hopefully I'm pronouncing somewhat right. I saw him pop up in the Titans run I've been enjoying from Tom Taylor. So I wanted to get a little bit more background on this new Swamp Thing character. And so far, it's fine. They're doing, they're slowly weeding you into this universe. I think there's like 16 or 18 issues of this, though. Will I read that many? Yeah, we'll see, because I do really like Mike Perkins on the art. He did, Captain America with Ed Brubaker way back when. He did the Stand adaptation for Marvel Comics, so I've always liked Mike Perkins as an artist. I haven't read too much for Brom V. I've heard he's done some decent work on Batman and stuff like that. And I do really like the character Swamp Thing. That being said, this is a kind of a new character with Levi instead of Alec Holland. So I'm curious to see if I need to read something else to see what happened to Alec Holland, or they kind of subtly explain it through like the 16 or 18 issues of this maxi series. But yeah, I'm probably going to give it a few more issues, but I did enjoy, especially in the art department, I enjoyed what I've looked at so far. All right, next up, just came out Tuesday, was the conclusion of Titans Beast World. It's issue 5. I was actually surprised it only went 5 issues. I did not know it wasn't going to go further than that when I, first started reading issue 5 here. So to see all of these plot threads and storylines come to like an all of a sudden stop, I was a little bit surprised. But that being said, I feel like this, at first I was kind of reading this as a big event, but now I kind of feel like this is just a supplement for the Titans book, which is also fine. It is what it is. Because there's a lot of stuff going on that basically, if you're not reading the Titans book and you're only trying to read this, you're going to lose like half of the story. But basically, in the last issue, we found out Dr. Hate was actually Raven's dark side that usually is contained in the jewel in her forehead, but broke out. So the main crux of the story is Raven having to fight her dark side, basically. And, it's kind of a losing battle, more or less, until, her friends show up, like Starfire shows up and turns the tides. And then the other main thing that's going on is they're trying to get those spores out of the rest of Earth. And those spores also represent Garfield Logan Beast Boy. Now, there was like a couple hints dropped in previous issues of Titans where like, oh, he can turn himself into like a school of fish or a swarm of bees or whatever. And he just loses a little bit of himself. So if one fish dies or a bee gets swatted or whatever, he loses a bit of himself. Now, obviously, if he's a giant Starro-like monster, gets killed, and then these spores are out loose, there's got to be a little bit of part of him in these spores. So they finally realized that. Now the question remains, like, is there enough of them left? And the answer was no. But luckily, Detective Chimp was on the case. He's kind of like almost the MVP of this issue because he realizes there was a piece of that Garo arm in space frozen. So he uses Cyborg to go get it, and they sort of save Beast Boy. It's kind of slightly up in the air, but he's talking again at least. And the main spoiler, which is big, huge spoiler warning here if you're actually wanting to read this. At the end, we think everything's okay with Raven. She defeated her dark side, but then they cut to an epilogue with that Jewel talking. And of course, it had to be this way. That Jewel is now the prison for the Raven we all know and love. And this Dr. Hate awful version of Raven is now guised as the good Raven to the Titans. So who knows what's going to go ahead and happen there. And there's a whole subplot with Amanda Waller too, trying to use her political pull to turn America against the Titans. And somehow now she owns the Hall of Justice and all that fun stuff. And I think they're also tying in the Tom King Wonder Woman stuff too. Anyway, let's move on to my pick of the week. And I like this read so much. I ended up reading like a whole bunch of issues of it. So World's Finest, I read issues 6 through 11. So the story in this one was there is a sidekick for Superman now that is introduced. And basically with that sidekick, he is from a different universe, but he was shuttled there and had to watch his, world die, basically. It's kind of sounded familiar to Superman, I'm sure. So this kid all of a sudden starts to develop powers because of the parallel universe sun, aka the universe that this Batman and Superman are in. So Batman insists that, Superman take this kid under his wing because they have a lot in common. So as the story progresses, they have to fight, this other character. And then he's ended up, Joker gets involved. And you know how much Joker likes sidekicks based on the cover I picked to display here. And of course, fighting bad guys doesn't go well. Eventually, like the rocket ship that brought this new character over ends up getting damaged. And in that, anything that came with that rocket ship gets like caught out of the vibrational pull that, was established in Crisis on Infinite Earths way back when, basically. So this kid can't spend the rest of his life on this planet. Now he gets randomly thrown into another planet. We find out, spoilers, that this character all along is going to grow up to be Magog from Kingdom Come, so which I thought was really awesome. So that makes me ask a question. Are the Superman and the Batman in World's Finest going to turn out to be the Superman, the Batman, and Kingdom Come? I guess that was you know, are we supposed to read Kingdom Come as, you know, the definite future for the DC characters? Yeah, you could answer that the answer too. But I really enjoyed this read. There was a lot going on, and it's just going to keep building and going too, because I know I've seen covers to later issues with Magog and Kingdom Come Superman and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to what Mark Waid is going to do next with all of these characters. I had a blast reading this. This so far since I've re-upped the DC Universe app, this has been my top pick almost every time. But if you guys have any other picks for me, definitely let me know. I've been really enjoying the DC app so far. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed me talking about the DC Universe. Let's go back to the chat, and then we're going to show a whole bunch of comic books that I just randomly had laying around in my collection. So earlier, art, bikes, and comics, yes, you influenced tonight's basically topic. So can't wait to see what's in this pile. I put it there like 3 or 4 days ago, and I've already forgot because there's a ton of books. He does like those covers. Legend likes digging through those back issues, and he loves the 90s with those red leather covers. And of course, I knew he'd love Shazam. All right, let's go ahead and show some horror books. Now, I'll be completely honest. I didn't even have time to finish bagging and boarding for the stream, so we're going to start with the pile that still has, you know, loose comics in there. So we'll go ahead and start with Secrets of Sinister House, number 9. It is not a perfect copy. I think, you know, I probably didn't pay more than $1 for this, luckily. It was just, you know, probably a comic shop find. And it's from 1973. So another reason I wanted to show these books tonight is if you guys have been following my channel for a little while, I did a long time ago a segment called October Reads, where I basically tried to publish a video every day in the month of October where I read books like this. If you guys want to see me do something like that again, please let me know. Because if you don't want to see it, I don't want to put in that much work. I'd probably have to start like now. And luckily, YouTube Shorts are a thing. So I'd probably just make them like 1-minute YouTube Shorts, like 31 of them. So let me know, please, like in the comments, the chat box, whatever. If you guys want to see me like do mini reviews on books like this. Now, it looks like we got a Bernie Wrightson cover on House of Mystery 204. Now, the House ones are probably my favorite ones to collect. House of Mystery, House of Secrets. I always think they have the most fun stories and definitely the best interior and exterior art. There's that one. I got to kind of move it along here because I got a whole stack. I got House of Mystery, number 210. I should really bag and board this one. It's not the greatest quality copy, but hey, it's not destroyed, which sometimes getting these books, that's a great thing. Secrets of Sinister House. Got issue number 10 on that. Now we'll see if I pull any doubles here. So since I had that one pile earlier, what made me think of that is I got Ghosts issue number 44. Apparently, this is a Mark Jeweler insert. So I don't even know if I got this on the I got this on Whatnot. So let's see if we got a Mark Jeweler's insert, because, you know, before the newsstand craze, I feel like a lot of people love them some Mark Jeweler. So it feels a little bit thicker. Oh, look at that. There we go. Look at that. I guess I need a gimmick for Mark Jewelers. So if you need a ring, just get a copy of Ghost number 44 and they'll hook you up. So there you go. Mark Jewelers goodness. Well, whoever sold this to me notated that on the back of the book because I never would have looked otherwise. We got Giant-Sized Creatures featuring Werewolf by Night, number 1. Probably got this for $1. Luckily, it is not completely destroyed. Just, you know, the usual on the bottom on almost all these old books. Let's see what Art, Bikes, and Comics. Prowler's saying, I have picking Bernie covers when I find them on the cheap. Absolutely. I like I said, I probably got doubles laying here just because every time I see them, I pick them up. We got Super DC Giant S number 20. It's a House of Mystery. Might try to see if I can clean that, you know, green ink or whatever that is off. Some little kid had some fun drawing on his cover. Apparently I paid like $4 or less for that. Cool. We got Secrets number 82. Secrets number 120. One day I'll organize all these. This is kind of random. Very random tonight. We'll throw things off with a Joe Kubert Strange Adventures 234. I always kind of end up lumping these in all together. I really like the Strange Adventures run as well. I'd like to have that 205 one day. I at least got, you know, a good chunk of my Animal Man ones, even though, you know, they're halfway falling apart, but I got a 180 and a 190 at least. I wouldn't mind having that 205. Actually, we'll deviate real quick. Sidebar, because I forgot to show this. I did want to highlight this Whatnot pickup I had a few months ago. So take a break from the horror comics or just skip ahead like 30 seconds, I guess, if you're watching on the rewind. I got this off the, I think it's like an SMZ Comics Whatnot stream, and they have a pretty good working relationship with Kevin Eastman. And I actually got a remark, X-Liza Wolverine number 4, Kevin Eastman remark on that. Now, I know he always likes to do the turtles, so I had to get one slightly rarer than a turtle. Pretty sweet Wolverine on that. I do want to kind of put that on my wall, so I'll put that on the side over here. Going back to horror comics now. See, 30 seconds in and out there. We got a Saga of Swamp Thing 21. I think I got another one. If it's not back there, it's in another room on display somewhere. But probably maybe the Swamp Thing book. If you're going to get one book from this run, I guess go get the John Constantine. Well, if you don't want to afford that, definitely pick this one up. It's the origin of, what actually happened to Alec Holland. One of my all-time favorite reads. I was talking about October Reads earlier. I'm pretty sure I reviewed this in October Reads. So go check that if you want like a full review for me. Oh, yeah, legend. I'll give you one more. Why not? It is definitely newsstand. Yep, it's a newsstand. And then Prowler likes that Eastman remark. But yep, had to get a newsstand to that. I think I got this for like a few bucks on a stream somewhere on Whatnot. Like no one was bidding on this. Like, I guess I'll take another copy. But actually it's kind of a good thing because I believe CBCS is doing like a 40th anniversary Swamp Thing, like multi-artist signing where they pretty much got like everyone but Alan Moore who worked on this run. So I might have to send off to get some signatures and maybe a remark or 2 or 3, maybe. We'll see. I haven't quite decided yet because I'm putting some budget in the C2E2, let's just say. So that's a good time to have this copy, though. I'm very happy to have it right now because I might press and send that one because I don't feel like cracking out the other one I got, basically. Or I might send this one as well. I got an issue 25. I believe this is the cameo appearance of John Constantine. Now I could get a Bissett and a Total Bin on there, which I'm very tempted to, honestly. So I might end up sending this. I do have extra copies of the John Constantine first appearance, but I wouldn't say any. I don't know if any of them would even hit a 9. So we'll see. Shout out to the Mastodon. Every time I see Weird War Tales, I got to shout out Mastodon for sure. I got Weird War Tales number 15. I definitely got a chance to see some of his reviews of these, and ever since then I'm like, yeah, if I see him, I'm buying them. So really cool cover on Weird War Tales 15 there. Got another Needs a Bag. We got House of Secrets number 108. It's from 1973. Love these covers. Like, I can't say that enough. Actually, you know why this isn't in a bag? I actually had to press this. I actually put this guy back here to work because this thing had the spine roll from hell. Like I actually had to press it for 10 minutes on each side just to get the curve out. And then I had to press it flat and then I had to press it normal. So I think I did an okay job. Obviously there's still, reconstructive work if I wanted to go further on it, but it's still like a 1.0 copy. If, there's probably no point in further. I can read it finally, at least. It's not curved to the point where I can't open the book. Got Witching Hour number 20. That looks dreadful. I don't like the ones with the animal violence on the cover, so I might get rid of that one. We got Challengers of the Unknown, not a horror comic, but it looks like a horror cover to me. The Challengers they're going to the gallows, so scary stuff there. We're switching it up. We're going to Marvel. We got Chamber of Chills number 3. I don't like, I do enjoy getting these Chamber of Chills because the next one got some Frank Bruner art in these. Frank Bruner is one of my favorite Bronze Age artists. So he always has that big old signature, usually displayed on everything he does. I believe he does a lot of interiors. I was flipping through these as I was bagging and boarding them. Some good books. Don't sleep on Chamber of Chills. We got issue number 13 as well. Then I got Creatures on the Loose, issue number 20. I'm actually like working on run filling Dracula. Like if I can get the first issue of Dracula for a decent price, I have a pretty good shot of getting almost the entire run for like a few bucks or less from that point. Because if you've watched the channel in the past, I got issue 10 Tomb of Dracula like at a stealth buy on eBay. So now all I need is like issue 1 basically. It came with like 2 through 10. There's probably 1 or 2 I'm missing out of that run, but some Ghost Castle, 25-cent DC, really cool cover there as well. And I got Ghost Castle number 3 as well. I can't remember if I have an issue 1 laying around or not. I'll have to check my boxes on that. We're going really old on this one, probably late 60s. We got House of Mystery 149. Yeah, this is when Martian Manhunter was kind of making his splash in DC, so Martian Manhunter copy. And I believe this next one, if it's not the first appearance, I believe it's like within the first 3 appearances of the Dial H for hero stuff. So House of Mystery 156. Before it was a horror comic, somehow Dial H made its debut in House of Mystery. So I still really like the cover though. I love the way those blues pop on there. We got House of Mystery 209. Great cover there. Great cover on the next one, 222. We got 233. Happy Death Day to everybody. Going into the Copper Age slowly but surely now. We got 242. And 277. I still got some more to show after this. I forgot I'm done with the stack. We got some Mia Kaluta on 300. We got Random Rick Reviews. Loves that Death Day. What's going on, Random Rick? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. Grab some more. The rest of the stack here as we go from mystery to secrets. We got an old banged up copy of House of Secrets, issue number 60. I think I had one of everything spilled on it, but hey, it is still a fun copy of House of Secrets. Got the Eclipso era, number 74. And then number 80, which is unfortunately missing a little chunk there, but still holds up just fine. Still easily readable. He wants me to slow down. Sorry, I didn't want to stream all night. I just look at a giant stack. I guess that's why they invented the pause button on YouTube. I'll try to slow down a little bit for you. We got House of Secrets 105. Absolutely love that cover on there. Would love to go fishing there. We got House 112. And actually, like I said, I probably have doubles of most of these, or a good chunk. And just in this pile of sorting, I have 2 copies of 116. One is definitely better than the other. Try and figure out. Yeah, this one was kind of the gross one. This one's the better one. So cool covers, of course. Can't say that enough. Probably going to keep repeating myself all night on that. We got House Secrets 143. Art Bikes says, I do have a Ghost Castle number 1 that I picked up as a teen. Yeah, that's awesome. Random Rick still loves those covers. House of Secrets 147. And we got the Man Thing, issue number 4. I think I still got a decent run of Man Thing, actually. Still have it's kind of like the Ghost Castle. I don't have the issue 1 of Man Thing, that cool Bruner cover. It's kind of another one of those ones like, I'm not going to overpay for it. I'm sure it's a really cool book, but I don't want to pay almost 3 figures for it. I don't know if the Great Legend's still there. I know this is another one of his guys. And I don't know how this got in the horror pile, but I'll show it because it's a fun and really cool book. We got Plastic Man, issue number 10. I guess it'd be a horror trying to fight yourself around prison bars. So, okay. But yeah, really nice Plastic Man. Oh, look at this. We got the Amazing Murfinator. What is going on, man? Nice to see the Amazing Murfinator in the chat. I know the Great Legend. We're having flashbacks to the Great Legend auction show. That awesome auction that was always on Saturdays that I'm sure I got a lot of books in here paid for from that auction. We got Secrets of Sinister House, number 11. Really crazy cover there. Now, the next one is one of my favorites. I mentioned Strange Adventures earlier. And my boy, Buddy Baker, Animal Man. This was an upgrade copy I believe I purchased at one point on Whatnot. Strange Adventures 190, the first appearance of the Animal Man suit, I believe. So 180 is the first appearance of Buddy Baker, and then he's actually in the suit in this one. Will he have that coat? Not quite yet. We already discussed that coat at length on a previous live stream. But my previous copy of this, I bought it at a con for like $10, but I got home and I realized like the cover was completely detached. So luckily I now have one that has the cover attached. So gotta have my early Animal Man appearances. He's one of my boys, so I have to have these. We got Strange Dog's comic stuff. What is going on, Strange Dog? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. We got a little bit more pile to go. Somehow Strange Adventures ended up here. We'll just roll with it because Strange Adventures is great too. We got issue 237. Adam Strange, of course, was completely in the title by this point. We got 238 as well. 239. I'm sorry, 243. Here I thought I had a little bit of a run. The next one's really good. I don't know, like I think this is like my third or fourth copy of this book. This is definitely my most beat up copy, but I probably got it for like a couple of bucks. Swamp Thing number 3. His first Abigail Arcane, first Patchwork Man, if I remember right. Maybe that's issue 2. But anyway, you can't go wrong with the first 10 issues of Swamp Thing. It's Bernie Wrightson at his best. Get these books if you see them, especially cheap, even if they're missing a chunk out the side there, have color lines. It just adds to the aesthetic of awesome Swamp Thing stuff. But yeah, I can't pass up a good Swamp Thing book when I see it. So really, yeah, this is probably my fourth copy of this book. We got, I got to take a sip of water for this next guy here. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. We got Chris Barrett in the chat. How's it going, man? Murph loves that Swampy. Prowler likes Bernie Wrightson, that's for sure. And Legend loves Chris Barrett. Murph says Swamp Thing books are great. Swamp Ass, not so much. I do agree with that statement. All right, we got Uncanny Tales from the Grave. We got issue number 7. I guess for those of you just joining us, I'll pose the same question. So a long time ago, I did a segment on this channel called October Reads. If you guys want to see me do like YouTube shorts or do like full-length reviews of these books, like please let me know in the comments and that stuff. Yeah, I would definitely like to get into doing stuff like that again, maybe figuring out how to do this YouTube short stuff. We got Witching Hour number 21. Once I get started, I gotta see how close I am on these witching hours. I feel like I've got like a good chunk of this run at this point, but can't sleep on the witching hour. Yeah, we got some more coming up. We got issue 22. Apparently went monthly at that point. I think this cover has a little bit of heat on it. Like, at least it did in December. We got issue 28, like the Never Kill a Santa Claus, where it's just Santa Claus is a skeleton. Should have put this up for the holidays. I was actually like thinking about like downstairs. I have like a wall of comics I just like, and my family comes over there looking at them and stuff. So I thought about switching it up to Christmas comics when I had everyone over for Christmas. And yeah, this would have been one I probably put on the wall. So Witching Hour number 28, really cool cover there. Like I said, I'm going to keep repeating that a lot. Witching Hour number 39. This guy does not look like. He doesn't look like he likes resembling the Question, but there we are. His face got stolen. Issue number 43. Another 20 center. And believe the last, but actually no, next to last book. I got one more literally big one. We got Worlds Unknown, number 5, featuring the Black Destroyer. And we got some. Apparently, they could plug Star Trek at the time, too. Marvel did have that license, probably. Maybe DC did at that point. I can't remember. And the last horror comic I wanted to highlight is I bought this probably during Halloween, actually, at my local shop. And I wasn't doing too many videos then, so I definitely want to make sure I highlight this now that I'm showing some horror books. I got the House of Mystery Treasury Edition. C23 is the number on this. And oh my God, this thing is huge, and it is awesome. So I'm definitely, I didn't know these existed until I saw it in the store. I'm like, well, I'm buying that. There's no question there. So I always like getting these treasuries, especially once again, in the 70s, they didn't make bags and boards for these things. So some of them are extremely beat up or bent up or, you know, have the back cut out because they almost always had activities and dioramas and such on the back. You know, shout out to Silver Age Dave. I remember one time he had the Batman one. He actually made the diorama on the back on one of his, I don't know if it was a live stream or like one of his videos. But I remember he was actually cutting up one of the treasuries and where he's like, no, I can't cut up a comic book, but then you got a cool diorama out of it. So really awesome cover there. I'm surprised I don't see this featured more often elsewhere because, you know, everybody loves these type of covers. But like I said, I didn't even really know this one. I think there's other ones. Like I think there's a Ghost Treasury. I can't remember if there's a House of Secrets one maybe. I know there's a couple of them at least that I'm definitely on the lookout for now that I know they exist. But yeah, to buy these for $1 back in the day, I guess also, speaking of treasuries, I guess I saw on my final order cutoff list last Friday that apparently DC is now going to do like facsimile foils of treasuries. So they're doing the Batman Neil Adams one, but it costs like $20. So shout out if you're going to get, I'd like to see, well, I got to see one of those in person, but I don't want to pay $20 for it. But yeah, I really, really enjoy this. Yeah, Chris Barrett says, I'll cut up comics, make collages. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. They're your comics. You do what you will with them. That's for sure. Like X-Men #1, I probably cut that book up because I found it for like $0.25, 50 cents. The gatefold cover is a poster on the opposite side. I wanted to hang the poster, so I had to cut the cover off. So yeah, they're your comics. Display them how you want, cut them up how you want, do all that fun stuff. All right. That pretty much concludes tonight's live stream. If you guys missed a plug in the middle of the show, definitely check out tomorrow on this channel. We got Modern Men Episode 2, Part 2, where we're going to review The Authority, Volume 1 from 1999. So if you guys like the Modern Men scene, go check that out tomorrow. I think I got it dropping around noon Eastern. And then we're going to follow that up next week. We're going to start talking about some X-Men with some X-Force Volume 1 2008. Like I said, will I think the same as I thought in 2008 this run? We'll see. I got to read the whole thing still. I've already read the first issue and already have some mixed feelings about it. So I'm looking forward to talking about this with the guys on Modern Men. We're going to have a fun concept called the X Draft, where basically we're going to build our X-Men team, and we're going to let you guys vote on who has the best team, and the winner will get to pick what we read after that. So if you guys are Modern Men fans or just like voting in polls or like the X-Men, take a look out for that poll. Do the subscription gimmick and all that stuff. Make sure you can vote on that poll because I want to make sure Drew doesn't vote for himself and pick like Headlopper again or something like that. All right. We'll read some final comments here. We're going to sign off. Once again, it's great seeing the amazing Murphinator Chase. His background is looking crazy cool. Love it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff back there. Even over here, there's just way too much chaos. Erwin saying later. He says, what is DC smoking? Foil treasuries. They don't even know that foil is almost extinct. Now, I wish they go back to chromium for at least one book. I would love to see a chromium treasury. Now, that would be something 90s and 2020s mixed together. That'd probably be like $40. And Art Bikes and Comics has a great show. So thank you so much, guys. Hope we'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and all that fun jazz. But thank you guys so much. It means the world for you guys to come into the chat. Won't be doing this live. I just want to hang out with a few of you guys, and this has been a blast. So big thank you guys. Hopefully see you next time.